Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today, this one is 4 years in the making.
Yes, 4 years, which is crazy to say.
But I have the owner, the founder of Natural Butter Bar, Tiffani Young. Thanks for coming to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Finally.
Yes. Thank you for not giving up on me.
Oh, no. I mean, like, what you do is amazing. And
you.
I think, okay, so I'm just getting to the skincare thing in like the last couple of months, and it works. You don't really think about it because I'm like, oh man, I'll just put on Vaseline, I'm out, I'm good. But when so you have someone, they'll have like the cleanse and the this and the this and this. They're like, why do you have so many freaking things? And you try it out, it works. Yes. You can tell the difference. So what was the origin for Natural Butter Bar for you?
Well, it actually started out of a personal need. And originally it was just going to be hair care. So about 10 years ago, I decided to stop relaxing my hair. Oh. And here in the Maritimes, it's very difficult to find products meant for black hair in particular, and black skin. And so I started doing a lot of, watching YouTube videos, making a lot of DIY recipes and things like that, and would spend hours and hours watching tutorials and things. And then I was implementing what I saw with the few ingredients I could find here. Even, going to the grocery store, it was very basic avocado oil, coconut oil. So I just used what I could find. And it really made a big difference. And I'm sure you're aware, in the Black community, hair is a very big deal. Yeah. Especially long hair is like the ultimate goal for a lot of people. Although I would say choose healthy hair over longer hair. But my hair really grew, and people started stopping me on the street and asking me, what are you doing? Like, what are you using? Where are you getting your products and things like that? And my now husband, at the time we were dating, he was like, I think there's a great business opportunity here. There's obviously a gap in the market. You're doing something that can fill it. And I just blew him off for the longest time, for quite a few years. And then I was, working in different positions. I was working with Boys and Girls Club, with the after school program, and then as a youth outreach worker. And some of the kids I was working with, really, after some time, they would come to me and say, oh, Miss Tiffani, look, I'm wearing my hair like you. And, it really, that was the moment that it clicked that I have to do this business. Because for me, it's not just about making products and selling them. It's really about, helping people embrace their natural beauty, to love their curls, to love the skin they're in. One of our taglines is, we want to help you fall more in love with the skin you're in and the kink in your hair. Because so many people, especially those with curly hair and darker skin tones, we want to be like somebody else, I experienced that a lot growing up. And so that was really what pushed me over the edge to start Natural Butter Bar. So
like, did your boyfriend and husband now, did he have like a business background or? He's always been very ambitious. And he did at one point work with BBI, which really sparked, some like that entrepreneurship mindset. But even before then, he was very entrepreneurial. I think back in, our younger days, we didn't really know that that's what it was. But looking back, it's like, okay, we actually were doing something. And yeah, he's very ambitious, very driven. And so that really encouraged me, because I'm naturally a very shy person, kind of like to hang out in the back and just observe, whereas he's more that upfront, like, hey, how are you doing? Talking to everybody. Everybody, knew who he was when we were in school together. Meanwhile, I was just very, very quiet. So he really helped me to, come out of my shell, and just, his encouragement, and, it really helped build my confidence to start this. Okay. So he's like, let's do this. The ladies, the girls, your work then were like, kind of the final push to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What was the actual process to set it up?
So it was definitely a lot of researching things online, asking some questions to, other business owners, even within the same industry. That was one thing that I've really loved along this journey, is that at least here in Nova Scotia, it's been a very friendly business, environment. So I just started asking people questions saying like, hey, this is what I want to do, and what are some things I should be aware of? And then the first step was figuring out a name, which took a little while.
Why did the name is anyway? How did the name come about? So I'm pausing that. Let's talk about the name then.
For sure. It kind of just came to me one day. I was kind of playing around with things, and the first product that I knew I wanted to introduce was different butters, and it just made me think of everything's better with butter, even with food, and also in your hair and skincare. And so then I was like, oh, what about Butter Bar? Because originally when I thought of what the business would look like, I thought it would be a storefront. And I imagined this oil bar where people could come and mix their own oils and things like that. But of course, we opened in 2020, and thankfully I hadn't signed a lease, because that would have been, a disaster.
Right.
So I kind of already had like oil bar in my mind. And then when I was like, oh, what about butter? I was playing around, it's like Butter Bar. But then Butter Bar was taken when I looked up, some websites and things. And then I was like, well, it is all plant-based and all natural. So let's add natural in front of it. And that was, how it came about.
Awesome name. Okay, so you get the name then.
Yes. Then, registered the business, and I still have my book of all the products I have launched and others that I want to bring to market.
Oh, there's still more stuff
Yes,
coming.
There's still more to come.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just getting started. We're just scratching the surface.
Right.
And so then I had to start sourcing ingredients, and finding containers and things like that. And that was a whole new experience. And then of course, opening during COVID, there was a lot of supply chain issues, and so just navigating that was a really big learning experience, and learning how to market yourself on social media.
Especially with a shy person.
Yes, trust me. I was like, so when I first launched, if you go back, especially on our Instagram page, at the very beginning, you did not see my face. But then once we realized like how long this lockdown was going to happen and everything, it was like, okay, I guess I have to really step out in front of the camera. And I just really had to get out of my comfort zone. And now I'm doing things like this.
No, I mean, because when you think about it, like I love your Instagram, and
thank you.
And when you it's grown, right? It was all you. Now you kind of have a team. Talking about the team, what's your process of selecting the people that you have?
Great question.
Part of your team.
I try my best to, make it a very welcoming environment and friendly. I don't want anybody to, come to work and feel, stressed and overwhelmed. So really looking when I'm chatting with people in an interview, it's very, very informal. I don't try to make it too stiff or stuffy. And really just looking for people who are looking to grow. Who have their own ideas and interests and don't mind sharing those, because I am very much a collaborative person. I don't know it all. And especially running a business, there's so many moving parts that you can't be a master of all of them. So really looking for people that have skills that maybe I'm weak in or just don't have in general, and are really looking for a place to kind of start. Sometimes as a smaller business, you don't always have the money that you would like to be able to, pay what people are hoping for. So I don't expect, at this stage for people to always, stay forever.
Gotcha.
But if I can be, give you that experience, help you build your resume, I want it to be something that I'm not just winning, you're winning also. So it's been a really good experience finding staff. I've had some who have come for like internships and co-ops and things for a short time. And then we're coming up on a year for some of my staff, so which has been great. They tell me that they really enjoy working with me. And, I hope that that's the truth. But I'm like, hey, if they've stuck it out for almost a year, I think that, backs it up. So,
it answers like, I guess we've navigated COVID and everything, but Natural Butter Bar started like right in the thick of things. You kind of came to surface with supply chain and stuff, but what was that experience like with you? Because that's when I actually reached out to first do this. But what was it like navigating the waters of COVID?
At times it was stressful. Yes. I launched the business also while on maternity leave. And so I think that helped give me a little cushion. It wasn't like I was 100% dependent on it. So when those challenges would come, trust me, I had my days where I've cried. I still sometimes have those days. But I had that little bit of room to kind of step back, take a breath, and reach out to people. That was one way that I navigated. I would, call people, reach out through Instagram and say, hey, I know you're doing something similar. Do you have any advice? And the response was always positive. Some people even gave me their supplier's contact and things like that. So I usually tell people, just it doesn't hurt to ask. At most, you'll be in the same position you're currently in. At best, somebody will help you get out of it. So,
yeah, it gives you just a little bit of a push to ask because you're always worried the person will say no or be like, you're disturbing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've learned, the worst that can happen is they will say no.
Yes.
That's literally the worst that can happen.
And you're no worse off, So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the line of products, right? You did a thing for your hair, but when you started the business, what was the first things you came out with?
We first launched some butters and oils, and as I was doing my research for the hair care line, I realized based on the ingredients I was using, I was like, all of these things are great for skincare as well. So that's how it became both hair care and skincare. I'm a very low maintenance person. For those people that have like you said, they've got the cleanser 1, cleanser 2, toner, serum, eye cream, lip cream. I don't have that patience, I mean, kudos to them.
Right.
It's fantastic. And it's a great form of self-care. So, hey, if you enjoy that and want that for yourself, wonderful. I'm more like a 1-2 things and I'm done.
Go. Yeah.
And so I wanted to create products and bring ingredients that can be used in multiple ways. So we first started off with just butters and oils. That grew. We added essential oils, and then we now have...
Wait. Sorry. Was it like oil and essential oil?
So I should say a carrier oil and then an essential oil. So carrier oils are oils that most people know. So olive oil, coconut, avocado, jojoba, and those are safe to use.
That's all you say.
Jojoba or jojoba, tomato. I get that a lot, actually. So you're not the only one.
I never said it in public. Can I get a jojoba?
People do. They do, and I don't correct them. I'm like, hey,
okay.
So those types of oils are safe to use on your skin and hair directly.
Yeah.
Essential oils are highly concentrated. That's why they're usually in smaller bottles.
So you just need like a little.
You just need like a drop or two, and if you apply them directly on the skin first, a good amount of people it causes irritation. So you have to dilute them. One of the most popular ways is to use a carrier oil. That's where the name comes from. That carries the essential oil, so that you can apply it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So then we added shampoo, conditioner, leave-in conditioner. We have our African black soap, and now we have some accessories, scalp massagers, wooden combs, especially for beards, satin scrunchies. And
you do that one? Like
yes,
I was away and I went to a store and I was looking for just, the comb with the... I couldn't find one. I couldn't find, like...
I'll hook you up.
Please do. Anyway, so, I mean, how do you decide when... Because you still have this book of things coming. So how do you decide, okay, it's time for the next thing?
When I first started, it really was about capacity. And space, because as I said, originally I thought I was going to do a storefront, and I'm like, oh, I'll have all this space for, all these things. And then we went into lockdown and I was like, well, I have half my basement to use. So I did scale back some of the things I originally wanted to bring to market, and kept it simple, streamlined, efficient to be able to, work within that space. As we really, got comfortable with the space, learned how to do things faster, upgraded some equipment and things like that. That's when I started getting more into blending more things and things that have more complex ingredients. So this year, for example, you'll see more oil blends and things like that for specific things, because we've really, figured out how to maximize our space and, be able to do more complicated formulas.
I love that approach. It's like we learn, then we just add a little bit, and then we learn, and we just... So it's like by the time you get there, you're already... Yeah. You don't just... That's great. Yeah. That is a great approach.
A big mistake that a lot of newer businesses make is taking on too much too soon. And that was advice that I had gotten time and time again. And I was like, well, if I don't heed this advice, it's going to be a problem. And so, I took my time. Sometimes you want to
because it's like, but...
Yes. And also too, products, especially, they have a life cycle. If you bring out too many things at once, then kind of nothing gets...
They'll kind of eat each other.
Yes, too. Like this way, it's like, okay, you know what? People really know us for our butters and things like that. Let's introduce something new. It's also a way to gain your customers' trust. When they have too many things to try out, they get confused. It can overwhelm people. Now, one thing that I'm very proud of is my retention rate is very high. Most customers are repeat customers. And when we do launch something new, they're the first
like,
to say, let me try this. So yeah.
And I guess you are your first customer because it seemed like you try everything on yourself.
Yes, definitely. I'm my guinea pig.
Right. Why is that important to you?
Sorry, say that again.
Why is that important to you?
Well, I want to be able to, tell people exactly what it's done for me. Anytime I talk to people about business, I try, especially if they're looking into opening their own, there's a lot of similar products. Especially in the beauty industry, it's overwhelming how many brands that there are. And so a lot of times people, they'll try things, but what gets them to commit is, your story, how they interact with you. And so one thing that I can honestly say is that I've tried every single one of these products. I use all of these products. I rotate through them. When I'm going to certain places, I can no longer just chuck my hair up in a bun. I'm a walking advertisement for the business. And, so it's very important for me to be able to say, hey, I use this. I use it on my kids. My kids are young. They're 5 and 3. And I use all of these products on them. So that's a way that people can know and trust that they are safe. So.
Yeah. It's like, if you use it on your kids, come on. A mom would never do that. Like,
exactly.
It's like,
yes.
So I can't remember. I was watching a documentary about like Teflon in frying pan and stuff.
Yes.
And the scientists that made the thing, they don't allow their children use the frying pan. They're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So you guys knew? Man, these guys, they're like, non-stick frying pan. So that's what it was. But they don't use the thing they are making. That's so bad. That's just bad.
So bad.
So I guess what's the process? You're like, I have this idea of this thing. How do you make it, and how do you know it's ready for market?
So a lot of time reading, watching tutorials, because this is not my background. I did not study chemistry. And so I'm self-taught. So, sometimes taking courses and a lot of journal review readings and things like that.
Jesus, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
The laziness, like, no.
when it's something you love and is passionate about, it doesn't feel like it, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually the first thing. And then, understanding how the ingredients work together is very important. And then I will kind of make up my recipe and make a small batch and try it out. Note what I like, what I don't like, and then, see how I can change that and improve it. And then I'll share it with, close family and friends to say, hey, can you try this out? What do you think? Do you like the smell? And all of those things. And then once it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I've gotten some good feedback and things like that. The other thing that we test is the shelf life. Yes, yeah.
Right, yeah, because
Yeah, so for the butters and oils and things like that, you don't need to use a preservative, but any formula that you add water to, you do, because when you add water, there's potential for bacteria to grow. Okay. So we've been blessed that we received a grant to work with Dalhousie University. So I tested different plant-based preservatives with our hair wash line. And so we use green tea extract as our preservative in any of our formulas that require water. So
this is like flying over my head now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Trust me, I didn't do the study. I just, explained to them like, hey, this is the product. This is what I need out of this research. I need to know how long the shelf life is. Is it possible to, to use a plant-based preservative? And so they chose the three, I can't remember what the other two were now, but green tea was the winner. But they tested it against two other plant-based preservatives. And it not only gave it the longest shelf life, but green tea has a lot of great hair and skin benefits on its own. So,
yeah, one of those little things I use is green tea too.
Okay.
I like the smell too.
Yes. So.
But it's mixed with mint. I need mint to be added to things because it's just like, it has that feel like...
Yeah. Well, we do have peppermint essential oil, so you can add that to things.
That sounds great. Yeah. I mean, you've learned so many lessons in the last 4 years running your business. What's like one thing that stood out for you, lesson based, apart from the, going slow and stuff?
Yes. One thing that I've learned. There's so many things. That's why I'm like, okay, which nugget should I share?
Okay, how about this? Let's do 2 or 3 things.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely, one is not everything has to be perfect before you put it out there. Your Instagram skills or social media skills don't have to be, at 100. Do it and put it out, and by doing it, you'll learn and you'll get better at it each time. Another one would be, I think, to reiterate what I said before, is to ask for help. You can't run a business as an island. Not only do you need a support system for yourself, like emotionally and mentally, like people that you can kind of call and just vent to, but you also need support in actually being able to execute certain things in the business. Because again, you're not going to know everything. Even when you study business, there's going to be things that come up when you're running a business that no textbook has covered, So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. And one more would probably be, be yourself. Oh. I know that's, I'm sure people have heard that many times, but people are going to connect with you when you are being yourself, when you're being genuine. The reason that people trust our products is, a lot of times they have a conversation first and are like, okay, well, what is in it? How do I use it? Why should I use it? And when you can share that, and when you can, explain why you have the business, what is your purpose behind it? That's what people are buying. That's what people are connecting with. It's not just the product, because anybody can go into Shoppers and Walmart and buy lotion and creams and things like that. But it's you that they are going to connect with. So be yourself and put yourself out there.
Be yourself and put yourself out there. Talking about that, how do you navigate your social media?
Well, in the beginning, it was actually my husband who ran it for me. I mean, of course, we would come up with ideas together of what the content was going to be, but he would do the recording and the editing and would post for me. I would answer any questions and those type of things. And I would prepare what I was going to say and things like that. Now that I'm able to have some staff, thankfully one of our staff is very interested in social media, and so she's taken that over fully. I do still work with her, but she's able to come up with the content and be like, hey, this is what we're shooting next week and things like that, which has been amazing because social media marketing is a whole job on its own.
Yep.
So, and I still have to ask, how do I post a story? So I'm not that old, but I'm not that, tech savvy.
Like, story and reel.
Yeah,
and
I'm just
posts.
and I don't do it enough. So I'm always like, oh, how do I do this again? So for her, it's like second nature. So I mean, we do what's true to us. At one point I did think about trying to do what is on trend and, but I was like, that's not me, it's good to try new things. And I tried it and it just didn't work.
It's not who you are.
And so we don't really focus on, how many followers do we have or how many likes. Is like, hey, this is the kind of content we want to put out and it will reach, the right people at the right time. So.
Okay, talking about right people at right time, there's this thing where I'm like asking every guest this question. Someone asked me and I was like, kind of blew my mind.
Yes.
So what's something that happened to you before you were 17 I think plays a huge role in the person you are today?
It's a really great question. It's a hard one to answer. I think before I was 17, definitely family was a really big thing, had a really big impact and influence. I'm the oldest of 10 kids in a blended family.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You are like 9 siblings.
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, are you guys close?
Yes, we are close.
Wow.
Not everybody lives here in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Majority do. I have a sister.
Oh my God. Thanksgiving must be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's always a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's a blended family. So I've got my stepmother and my stepfather. I don't really like to call them that, but just for clarity's sake. So I think being the oldest, it comes with a lot of responsibility. There's 6 years between me and my next sibling, but with both of my parents. I'm the only one between my parents. So, I was always very hands-on with my siblings, helping out where I could, did a lot of babysitting, and so, I took on responsibility at a young age. I like to be helpful. So I think that, it was the perfect environment to be helpful. And then just having so many different perspectives. My mom is originally from Jamaica. My dad is a white man from Bridgewater. My stepmother is from East Preston. My dad is from New Glasgow. That brings a lot of variety into my life. And so I always grew up with different types of food and just seeing different points of view, because what my mom and my stepdad, what their rules were different from my dad and my stepmom. And, so just learning that, hey, not everybody's the same. It taught me a lot of compassion. It taught me, how to accept people from all walks of life and, just highlight that, hey, everybody has something different, and it doesn't mean that they're wrong or that you shouldn't, be friends with them or what have you. It's just like, hey, let's figure out what we have in common and go from there. So I think that had a big impact, because I try my best to, always be respectful and kind and compassionate to people. I created this line to be, inclusive and diverse. Yes, it's the base is to care for Black hair and skin, but there is something for everybody. We early on, a challenge that we encountered was, somebody who was visually impaired who bought our products, and it was very difficult for them to, distinguish. So we offer Braille labels, for all of our products. So I think coming from that background of so many differences, and having responsibility at an early age, has shaped, how I view things and how I interact with the world.
Wow. Blew my mind. Because it blew my mind. It's time for me to do that. So behind there, you're not going to show me.
Okay.
Write a number between 1 and 60 and then just point it to the camera and then keep it from me.
Okay.
All right.
Between 1 and 60.
Yeah,
okay.
Just one
And
number.
then show the camera.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I need you to hide it so I can see it.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Okay. Here we go. So there are a couple of cards here. I need you to let me know if your number is in any of these cards.
Okay.
Is it in this one?
No.
Okay, it's never in the first one. But let's go. Is it in that one?
No.
Huh. Okay. Is it there?
No.
It can be multiple cards, by the way. I forgot to add that. But
no. Huh. Is this a first?
Yes. Is it there?
No.
Huh.
But it is in the last one.
Oh my God. Okay. So, are you sure it's not in any
Okay, let me
way?
double check.
Yeah, just
no.
Not there.
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
No.
No?
No.
Ah, Tiffani, come on.
It's my favorite number that I chose.
Oh, okay. We good?
Yes.
Only here. Sorry, I need to take some time. I'm not at this one, no. 8.
Yes. How did you do that?
Magic. Oh, Tiffani, it took 4 years for this to happen, but it's worth it. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for not giving up and for always checking in.
Oh, no, that's
I'm so happy to be here.
No, me too.
Yes.